Perfect. A very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Chris and I'm one of the Shortcuts educators. So for this afternoon, we're going to be going through our marketing masterclass, how to turn your Shortcuts Fusion system into a 24/7 marketing machine. Now, if this is your first time joining me for one of our masterclasses, thank you ever so much for joining. If you're a regular, if you've been on my masterclasses before, again, thank you ever so much for joining me. Our masterclasses are always recorded and we can upload them to YouTube, or we can send them to, directly to yourself as well. So please feel free to request that towards the end. Now, with our masterclasses, we usually have a PowerPoint presentation followed by a live demonstration. For today, it's all going to be about getting into the fun stuff. We're going to be doing a live demonstration. But just before we do, a little bit of housekeeping and just a little bit of background information into this powerful marketing tool. So first things first, the duration of this webinar is going to be approximately 45 to 60 minutes. My microphone is switched on, whereas everyone else has automatically been muted. So hopefully you can all hear me nice and loudly. If you do need to pop your headphones in or turn the volume up, please feel free to do so now. And questions will be taken during or at the end of the webinar using the chat box. Do feel free to unmute yourself. Do have a chat with me. Do pop some things in the message box. Make it live, make it interactive. Feel free to ask as many or as little questions as you need to. So cloud marketing campaigns, we're going to take a look at a good chunk of campaigns for this afternoon. They're very simple to get your head around, ladies and gents, so I'm not going to go through them all. But for the purposes of the video, we do have our marketing campaigns here. So we have the new client campaign, and this will be sent the day after a new client's visit. We've got that time to see you again campaign. It's going to be sent to customers who have not visited for 6 weeks with no future appointments. We miss you, so this campaign will be sent to people that have not been back for 16 weeks with no future appointment. We've got the happy birthday sent on the day of the client's birthday. We've got the referral. We've got the appointment acknowledgement, which is a fantastic tool to be having. I do think everyone from today is going to want to get started with that appointment acknowledgement. It's a great starting point. We've got the no-show, again, a brilliant way to just sort of contact those customers if they were a no-show. We've got some pre-arrival instructions. We're also going to be taking a look at some targeted campaigns, a way to look at transactional campaigns, some custom SMSs, some really, really exciting things we're going to be looking at for this afternoon. So those are the campaigns there. For the purposes of the video, we can see them there. If you want to take a picture, if you want to take a screenshot, that's perfectly fine. We're going to go through a chunk of them. We're not going to go through all of them because it's so easy to set up. You're not going to want me to go through all of them, but we're going to go through some favorite ones. And then, of course, why do our customers love it? Well, we get some fantastic feedback, ladies and gents, on our marketing. It's quick and simple to use. There's nothing worse than having to spend hours on creating campaigns, editing all the wording, the send schedules, getting it wrong, making a mistake. We want it to be quick and simple. We don't want to spend ages doing this. We want these campaigns to be sent out nice and quick. They're accessible from a web browser, so you're going to see it's nice and easy to set up via the cloud appointment book. All we need is an internet or data connection, and we can get those campaigns sent out in a matter of minutes. So it's nice and quick, nice and simple to do. Accessible via a security level. So you might be thinking, okay, well, you mentioned, Chris, it's done via the cloud appointment book, and that's fine. But I've got staff members that are using the cloud appointment book. So we can take a look at the security level if we don't want all of our staff to be able to access this. Wording and images are customizable. We have made it so a lot of the send schedules are preset. It makes it super simple, super quick, and it also reduces the sort of opportunity for error. Okay, so it makes it that little bit easier, but wording and images are customizable. Send times for the ongoing campaigns are preset, but they can be customizable to a degree. And we're going to take a deeper look into that a little bit later on. We can preview and send a test before activating. So nice and quick, we can click the preview button, see how fantastic our campaign looks before we even activate it. You can even send yourself a test. This can work on both SMS and email platforms. If you are using SMSs already, if you've got an SMS bundle set up, for example, you might be using SMS reminders that go 2, 3, 4 days before. It will just use the same bundle, and then we can use an email platform as well. It's all included, so you don't need to worry about having anything extra there. If you do want to increase your SMS bundle, that's perfectly fine to do so. We can take a look at that at the end as well. It can also be made inactive with the touch of a button. So nothing worse than not being able to pause or stop the campaign for whatever reason if you want to make any changes to it. We've made it super simple to do. All we do is we click the deactivate button and it's made inactive. But if you do want to reactivate it again, that same button turns into the activate button. So it really couldn't be simpler. You can check your return on investment for the campaign sent. So let's say you want to take it a little bit further. You want to create perhaps a happy birthday campaign or a Merry Christmas campaign. It's not far off. Or a Valentine's Day, and you've included a little bit of discount into that. We can check the return on investment, and that means how well did that campaign do for us? How much money did that campaign generate for us? So we're now going to take a look this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a look at our live demonstration. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our Shortcuts Fusion system. Okay, so I've opened up my Shortcuts Fusion system. And the first thing we're going to do before we delve into taking a look at creating a campaign, we're going to take a look at creating a discount code. Now, why are we taking a look at creating a discount? Well, let's say for your campaign, your email, for example, or your SMS, you want to give a little bit of discount. So you're doing a Christmas campaign, you're doing a birthday campaign, and you want to give a little bit of discount. What we always do is we always create a discount code first in Shortcuts. That discount code will then automatically synchronize in the cloud 5 to 10 minutes afterwards. So the first thing we're going to do, nice and simple, we're going to create a discount code in Fusion. So I'm going to click onto Setup on the right-hand side of my navigation bar, and I'm going to click Configuration. To the left-hand side, we're going to click the discount icon here. And you may already have some preset ones here. By clicking the drop-down arrow, we can see any pre-created ones. Some of you may already have an email birthday, an email miss you, email new client, or email referral. But feel free to create your own if not. So for example, all I'm going to do is click New, and I'm going to create the reason name. I'm going to add that in there. Towards the top, we can choose the default amount of discount. So for example, I want it to be 10%. But if I wanted to add in a monetary value, such as £5, £10, £25.72, for example, we would simply choose the fixed amount option here. Now you'll notice there's an option here that says discount can be applied to. This will specify what my discount can be redeemed against. Now, if I'm going to say that this discount can only be applied or redeemed against services or series, I'm going to untick these two options here. And that will specify that my 10% birthday discount can only be redeemed off of services or series. If I wish to say it is going to be a firm 10% and I don't want it to be changed or accidentally changed, I can tick this box here that says default amount cannot be changed at the point of sale screen. My default amount is 10%, as we can see here, and we're going to say it cannot be changed. If you want to have a barcode to be visible, so perhaps you're going to be using a barcode scanner, you don't wish to manually take the discount off using this discount reason, you want to use a barcode and scan the barcode, we can add in the barcode here. I'm going to add that B-Day 10 there. That barcode will pull through into your Shortcuts Cloud Marketing. Now, once we've created the discount code, we're simply going to click Save, and then we're going to click Done. And you may just have to give just a quick restart to your Shortcuts system. So that's the first thing that we've done there. We've created our discount code. Now, those discount codes are not just necessary for marketing, but are most important if you do wish to add any discount into your marketing. The next thing we're going to do, ladies and gents, is we're going to open up our cloud appointment book. So I'm going to navigate to my preferred web browser. Now, if you've never used a cloud appointment book before, that is where you will find your marketing is done. But if you've never used a cloud appointment book, please let me know at the end and we can get you set up with that. But there are two ways to access the cloud appointment book. One is via the online console. So for example, if we navigate to our online console here by typing in console.shortcutsoftware.com, that's console.shortcutsoftware.com. This will open up the online console. From here, we can stepping stone into the cloud. You'll see to the top right-hand corner, the fourth tile to the top right, is our Shortcuts Cloud. Clicking onto that will take you to your cloud appointment book, and that's where our marketing is done. If you want to just go straight ahead and open up the cloud, you can do so, and you can do this on your mobile phone. That's not a problem whatsoever. You just simply type in the web address for the cloud, which is pos.shortcutsoftware.com. That's pos.shortcutsoftware.com. But we are going to use the console. Okay, so why are we going to use the console? Well, we're going to check a few things. Now, we've said our marketing and our messages is done via the cloud, and therefore it will pull through a lot of information from the online console. So, for example, in the online console here, and again, that's just on our preferred web browser, console.shortcutsoftware.com. What we're going to do is we're going to go to site settings on the left-hand side here. If you're a multi-site user, that's perfectly fine. You can switch between the individual sites in the top right-hand corner. So why are we looking at site settings? Well, what I want everyone to do, ladies and gents, is I want you to scroll down on the site settings, and I'd like you to just double check your website is included. And please do include the full HTML, the HTTP here, the full URL. And I want everyone to just double check that the website is in there. The Facebook and the Instagram and Twitter are all included. So why are we adding those URLs in here into the site settings when we're talking about marketing? Well, the website, the Facebook, the Instagram and the Twitter will all feed through automatically to your cloud-based email campaign. So they will feed through automatically from here. This is where they will synchronize from. So check that website, check the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Underneath, we're going to double check the business name if it's included. If you do have a registered business name, please ensure that is in there. Please do also include your telephone number, your physical address, and your postcode here. So why are we now also including our our registered business name, our telephone number, and our physical address? Well, they pull through to something called personalized fields. Personalized fields essentially fill that data in automatically for you. So if we were to use a telephone personalized field, it will fill that number in for you in your email, saving you time. It saves you typing out your number. If you were to use the address personalized field, it will fill your address out for you in your email campaigns. And this is where it will pull through from. It will pull the data from here. So that's why we just need to double check. Then we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And I want you to just ensure the logo has been included. So you can see I've got my site logo here. And again, why are we including that logo? Well, that logo, the same as before, will feed through to your email campaigns automatically. And this is where it will pull through from. It will feed from this particular logo here. So as long as we've got all this information in the background, it saves us having to include it in our emails because it will pull that phone number through in the personalized field. It will pull the address through, pull the social media links through, and it will pull our logo through. If you do make any changes, just ensure you click Save towards the top right-hand corner. And then we can navigate back to the home screen. From here, once we've done that setup, we are now ready to move to our cloud appointment book. And again, we can use the dedicated URL for the cloud, or we can click onto the stepping stone here, and that will take us directly there. Again, that dedicated URL for the cloud is pos.shortcutssoftware.com. Now we're in the cloud, and as we said at the very beginning, we may have other staff members that have got access to the cloud. We may have our employees that are using it to check their column. And you might be thinking, okay, I don't want my staff to be able to, make changes in marketing. So we can take a look at the security level very quickly. In our cloud appointment book, towards the bottom left-hand corner, we're going to click onto the business settings icon just here. Once we've clicked onto business settings, we're going to choose the third option down, roles and permissions. To the left-hand side, you will see any default or custom created role types that you have in the cloud. For example, I'm going to choose the employee role here, and I'm going to take a look at the permissions. I can see the permissions just here. If I wish to edit the permissions, I'm going to click the red word here. I can scroll down and I can take a look. So if I expand configuration, we can see there's an option here that says I can configure messages. Now, if I wanted to restrict this, messages is your marketing. If I wanted to restrict this, I would simply toggle this to no. From here, I can click done, and that will save that role type. So that's now restricted any of my staff members under that employee role from being able to configure messages, from being able to configure marketing. So let's take a look at our messages. Let's take a look at our marketing. On our navigation bar on the left-hand side, we can see the speech bubble here that says messages. And we have two different types of campaign. We have what we call an ongoing, and we have what we call a once off. Once off, a bit more like seasonal, a bit more like a blast. Ongoing are sometimes referred to as set and forget. We set them, we forget them, they're ongoing. All of these ones here, as we scroll down, we can see they've got a nice little handy title. So we've got the ones that go after the booking, we've got the ones that go before a booking, after a visiting, and then we've got some default ongoing campaigns here and some once-off campaigns here. So nice and simply, let's take a look at our appointment acknowledgement. Now, this is an absolutely fantastic one. I think it's one everybody can get started with. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to click the appointment acknowledgement. Okay. Now we can see here the description, ongoing. So we can see that's an ongoing campaign. We're going to message customers about their new or changed appointment. Now, this is an absolutely fantastic one, ladies and gents. So some of you may be watching that are utilizing our SMS reminders, which typically go 2 or 3 days before the appointment. But the appointment acknowledgement does just that. It acknowledges the appointment was made. And that will do it not only for over the phone bookings, face-to-face, it will do it for app bookings, it will do it for online bookings as well. So it'll do it for all bookings that are made into your shortcut system. Now, it's not to be confused with the reminders. So let's say I make an appointment for 6 months' time. I'm going to get my appointment acknowledgement. And then in 6 months' time, I'm going to get my SMS reminder. So this is taking care of it when the appointment is made. So what is the send schedule for my appointment acknowledgement? How quickly can our customers receive this? And we can see just here, nice and simply laid out, we can see the send schedule. It can go from minutes to hours to days after the appointment is created or changed. Now, a little bit more on the changed in just a sec. So you can see I've got mine to go 1 minute after the appointment is created. Nice and simple. The customer rings up, makes an appointment or books online. 1 minute after they get their appointment acknowledgement. Now, you will also notice we've got an option that says changed. Now, of course, if a customer's booked in, they go into their online booking profile, they go into that app, or they simply ring up and remake the appointment, they will get a brand new appointment acknowledgement. Now, we've also got this, we've got like a little bit of a safety net for you, ladies and gents. So it may be, I'm sure we've all done it, the customer rings up and they say, Chris, can I make an appointment for 2 o'clock? You pop them in for 2. Then while they're on the phone, they say, actually, do you know what, Chris? Move it to 2:15. You move it to 2:15. And they say, oh, no, sorry to be a pain, Chris. Pop it back to 2 o'clock for me. You move it back to 2 p.m. So we've essentially sort of made 3 different appointments there. 1 at 2, moved it to 2:15, moved it back to 2. Is that customer going to get 3 appointment acknowledgements? No. There is actually a 3-minute grace window to cater for these changes. So if you do make an appointment and realize you've accidentally made it at 2:15 rather than 2, move it to 2. If you've accidentally made it at 2 and it should be 2:15, move it to 2:15. Got a 3-minute grace window to get all those changes done. Now, if you make the appointment longer, so if you make the appointment a 45-minute to a 2-hour appointment, that isn't going to affect anything. It is simply triggered by the start time. Okay, so you can feel free to make the appointment longer and shorter. That isn't going to affect anything. With all campaigns, we can see we've got an email or an SMS platform just here. So I'm going to expand email. Now this one's already activated, so I'm going to simply deactivate it. That's not a problem. I'm just going to scroll down and I'm just going to simply click deactivate just here. Now I'm going to scroll all the way back up. So we can see here we've got the header. So the logo will pull through automatically. And that logo, as we said, pulls through from site settings, which can be found just here. So there's our site settings logo just there, and that will pull through automatically. Now, if you want to upload an additional display image, you can do. You can grab that from Google or Canva, or you can use one of your own. You just simply tick the box and click Choose File. Now, all we tend to say is it sort of needs to befit the subject criteria. So a nice tick, your book, the front of the salon, anything that sort of represents an appointment acknowledgement. Now, underneath, you'll see all of the work has been done for you. So you can see we've got the subject title, business name, booking confirmation. Now, anything, ladies and gents, it couldn't be easier. Anything in these double brackets here is what we refer to as a personalized field. It will simply bring that data through for you. And again, it pulls through from site settings where we just were earlier. It pulls all of that data through. And it essentially saves you typing out your business name. So it's a nice, handy shortcut. Now you can see there's an option just here with the drop down arrow. This is where the personalized fields pull through from. So we can see there's the business name option just there. Simply clicking on that will pull your business name through automatically, as long as it is typed out correctly in site settings of the console. Underneath, we've got the body of the email. And again, all of the hard work and heavy lifting has been done for you. Again, we've got hi customer first name. Again, we've got those double brackets. That's a nice little personalized field. If I was to delete that out, I can simply add in my personalized field here. Add that in, and that will pull that name through for you. So hi Chris, hi Millie, hi Pam, whatever that customer's first name is, it will bring that data through for you. And again, we've got thanks for your booking, our business name. Your booking details are as follow. Now, the appointment detail will be the date, the time, and the service. So the appointment details are pretty much all of the appointment details. But you will notice there is, again, some more personalized field options just here. And then you can choose things such as just the appointment date, the appointment price total, the services, employees, time. The appointment details brings all of that data in for you, but feel free to just have a little bit of a play around with it if you wish to. Now, please ignore the form section. We're going to take a look at the form section towards the end, but forms are if you're using custom CICs or anything like that. If you want to have a form to be filled out by the customer, we're going to take a look at that at just the end now. You can add an offer in. Again, more on offers in just a moment. Your book now button will pull through automatically. Just to get rid of that. Your book now button will pull through automatically. And if you are a barbershop or a business using the self check-in function, that will also pull through automatically here. And then towards the bottom, we've got a nice little signature. So we look forward to seeing you soon. And I've just added in a whole host of personalized fields just there. Business name, business address, phone, email, and so forth. And we can simply click preview or send a test to see exactly how this will look. So if we take a look at preview, and sometimes it does just take a few seconds just to pull the data through. And there it is just there. So we can see we got our logo from site settings, and there is the image that I uploaded at the top there. Hi, customer first name. Thanks for your booking. Your appointment details are as follows. The book now, and all of the information there. Now, underneath, you'll notice we've got these three options here. Now, these are your social media links, so your website, your Facebook, and your Instagram. These will show the logos, but you do need to send yourself a literal test for it to pull all of that data through. So please don't worry if you're looking at it the same as mine and it's not quite pulling all of that data through. If you want to send yourself a literal test to check that your personalized fields are working, feel free to do so. You can click onto the send test button and that will pull all of your personalized fields through. It may say, if you do this in a real life scenario, it may say Dear John as the customer first name. So please don't worry if it says Dear John on that one now. And if you do wish to activate it, we simply click activate in the bottom right hand corner. Now I'm going to leave that one deactivated just for the time being, and I'm going to click save to save my changes in the bottom right. Now underneath here, we've got the no-show what happened. Now the no-show what happened is an absolutely fantastic campaign to be using. That is when you right click and you no-show the appointment in your Shortcuts Fusion or your cloud appointment book. However, with the no-show what happened, please note the appointment has to be left in the diary for at least 30 minutes for it to trigger. If you right click and no-show the appointment and then delete it, it will not trigger the no-show campaign. It needs to have that link, okay, for it to work. So if you do activate the no-show what happened, just make sure you no-show it and then just wait at least 30 minutes before deleting the appointment. You can move it, you can do whatever you need to do there, but it needs to stay in there for it to trigger the campaign to be sent out. And that is a fantastic customer to prompt that customer. You know, they might not have been aware, they might have accidentally missed the appointment. So it's almost like a follow-up without necessarily having to have a potentially an awkward conversation. We've got our time to see you again campaign, which is to prompt your customers. And we've got our We Miss You campaign. I'm going to take a look at a happy birthday campaign here. Again, so I think it's a great campaign that almost everyone can get involved in. Now we can see the description here, again, ongoing, message customers about their birthday. So you will have to have their birthday inputted in the client profile card. We can then see the send schedule. So this will be sent at 10 a.m. each day to all clients who are having a birthday. So we do need to have the day of their birthday in there. You can adjust any gender here if applicable, and you can also adjust the send time. Please note, ladies and gents, the send time can be on the hour or half past the hour. If you do something like 10:15, it will automatically change it to 10:30. So on the hour or half past the hour. Underneath, the layout is exactly the same, making it super simple. We've got the logo, which will pull through from site settings. We've got a display image, upload a nice cake and candles, balloons, fireworks, anything that we think befits happy birthday. And again, we've got that subject, happy birthday, customer first name. And again, that's a personalized field from our options that can be found just here. Now, I would recommend, ladies and gents, don't use too many exclamation marks, don't use, too many smiley faces, anything like that. It can pop it into your into the customer's spam filter, so don't put too much anything like that. Again, we've got the body, hi customer first name from all of us here at the business name. We wish you a very happy birthday. To help you celebrate, we thought we'd send you a special little birthday present, a voucher to use at your next visit. Now, underneath, we've got the offer text. If you want to add it in yourself, you can simply click add offer. If you want to delete it, you can click the cross to the top right-hand corner. So if we want to add that offer in, nice and simple, we just write in the text there. So 10% off any treatments, 10% off any services, £20 of any services, whatever we need to do. Now, underneath, we're going to add in a discount code. Now, if we circle back to the very beginning, if you do need to rewind the video, the very first thing we did in Shortcuts Fusion was create a discount code. So by now, we should be able to click onto it. we should be able to choose the one that we created. So birthday 10%, that will pull through automatically. And we can then add in our terms. I'm going to use a nice little valid from 1 month from send date. So I'm going to add that in there. So I'm just going to say from send date there. I'm going to add all of that in there. And any T's and C's that you feel applicable. Now, underneath, you'll also notice we've got a book now button, and we've also got a check-in button again, all exactly the same as before. So that offer, why did we add that discount code into that offer? So as we can see there, assign a discount code to track to our return on investment. We need to be able to track how well that campaign did for us. So rather than just taking 10% off at the point of sale screen or anything like that, we use the discount code to redeem at the point of sale screen, or the barcode if you're using a barcode like I set up. If you want to scan the barcode, that will automatically deduct that 10%. We've then got a paper trail. We've then got a return on investment as to why we took 10% off. And it really just shows us how well or how many people are using our 10% birthday voucher. And again, we've got that signature down the bottom, and we can click onto preview to take a look at how this will look. And again, it can just take a few seconds just to pull through that. Excellent stuff. So there we can see our logo from site setting and a nice little birthday image that I uploaded there. And there's our 10% off any treatments as well, just there. If you are using a barcode, if you did input a barcode, the barcode will appear underneath as well. There's the book now button, and there's our sign off and our social media links as well. Now we can close that down. We can go ahead and activate that, and that will go out on the day of the customer's birthday. So I'm going to take a look here at our pre-arrival instructions. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of them. If anybody at the end does want to drop me a message and say, can we specifically look at one, please feel free to let me know. But just in the interest of time, I'm going to go through as many as I can. But I'm going to take a look at this pre-arrival instructions. Now, the reason I'm going to take a look at this pre-arrival instructions is we can see it can send specific instructions to your client before their visit. And you can do this via email or SMS. Now, in particular, the reason I want to show you this one this afternoon, ladies and gents, is it says, please wait for further instructions from our team. So straight away, that sort of begs the question, please wait for further instructions from our team. So two things I'm thinking about there is not only what are these further instructions, but where do they come from? Because we're waiting for them. Please wait for further instructions from our team. So there's two things we could do here, ladies and gents. We could delete that out completely and just put, please ensure you arrive 15 minutes early for your appointment. Please ensure you bring open-toe shoes, or please ensure you ring the doorbell when you arrive, or please ensure you don't park directly outside the front. So you could delete all of this wording out here and pop your pre-arrival instructions in. But it does say, please wait for further instructions. So that suggests those further instructions are going to come from somewhere else. So where do they come from? So I'm going to take a side step out of here, and I'm going to go to my diary, and I'm going to go to a particular day. So I'm going to take a look at July. Now I've got some appointments booked in here. Now, there's our pre-arrival instructions that can be used alongside what we call ad hoc text messages through the cloud. So we could send that email to a customer that says, please wait for further instructions. So that customer is now waiting for his or her further instructions. And what we can now do is we can tap onto an appointment. In our cloud, we can click the three dots. We've got an option here that says SMS customer or text customer. We can send a custom text message, but we also have to the right, we also have some pre-created ones. So you can see here, we've got please come to the front desk. So hi Chris, the team at Shortcuts Retreat are ready for your appointment. We've also got, we are running a little bit late. Sorry, Chris, we're running a few minutes late. And as well, I've created a brand new one. So you can create a new template here by clicking the new SMS template. You can create your own one, which is, hi Chris, please remember to bring open-toe shoes to your appointment. So we're using it in conjunction with those pre-arrival instructions, okay? So we can let that customer know they're going to receive further instructions, and then a day before, 10 minutes before, 20 minutes before, whenever you need it, you can use your ad hoc text messages to simply tap onto the appointment and use one of our custom or default templates here. And it's a great way to utilize ad hoc text messages alongside your pre-arrival instructions. So we take a look at some ongoing ones. Just for the last sort of 15, 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes, I'm going to take a look at our once-off campaigns. So our ongoing ones all open up in exactly the same way. It's only the send schedule that will change. And right down the bottom here, we've got some one-off marketing campaigns. So you might be thinking, I literally just want to send out one email, or I want to send out one text message, like a blast, like a newsletter, something a little bit more seasonal. So for example, we've got two different variations. We've got a message all clients, which will message all clients in your database that are opted in. And we've got a targeted campaign. Now, a targeted campaign is a way to really filter your clientele down, but a little bit more on that in just a second. So first of all, we're going to take a look at message all clients. So message all clients, the only thing we can really change here is the gender at the top. You can adjust the time and the date. Again, you want to be nice and sort of proactive, ready for Christmas or Valentine's Day. You can pop the send dates in there. And again, you can send it out via email or SMS. Now, when you do this, ladies and gents, when you do the very first message all clients, you will notice that it's completely blank, because of course we don't know what you want to say. You know, do you want to say it's going to be a Christmas one, a Pride one, a Valentine's Day one, whatever it needs to be. So it will be completely blank. The layout is exactly the same, but of course we can't input anything in there for you. And exactly the same for the SMSs. SMSs will be blank. With regards to SMSs, there's no imagery or anything like that at all. The only thing we have is an option here that says send SMS, always or only when no email will be sent. So if you do want to send both emails and SMSs, you can send an SMS only when no email will be sent. If you are utilizing SMSs, as we said, no imagery, no logos, you can still use personalized fields, but please do keep an eye on the amount of characters used. More than 138 characters will send you into 2 SMSs to be sent. So that's our message all clients. It goes to all customers opted in your database, and it's a once-off campaign. But let's take a look at our targeted campaign. Let's stretch our legs a little bit further. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a targeted campaign. Now, you'll notice with a targeted campaign, you've got 2 different recipient types. We've got appointments within a date range. So for example, you can choose a start and end date. Fantastic if you had like a flood or had like a power cut and you want to sort of prioritize those customers. So we had somebody not too recently where they had electrical problems and they were closed for a couple of days, and they needed to sort of prioritize all of those customers when they were closed. So they inputted the start date and end date of when they were closed, and it would send a campaign to all of those customers that visited between the start and end date. So a great way to sort of capture your clients in a net there. But we can take it a little step further this afternoon. I'm going to click the drop down arrow, and there's an option that says use imported customer list. So I'm going to create a list of customers based on some demographic criteria. Now you might be thinking at this stage, oh, Chris, I have absolutely no idea. What am I going to target them on? How am I going to entice those customers? Well, let's take a look now. So it says upload exported list from Fusion. So I'm going to open up my Fusion system. And on the right-hand side of my navigation bar, I'm going to click onto Tools. And I'm going to click onto the third option down, Marketing. So this is where we can really start to target our customers. We can really start to filter our clientele down. And it's all about sort of upselling, enticing those customers back, but on the flip side, offering a slightly, let's say, slightly higher level of service, shall we say. But it's all about cross-selling, upselling, enticing those customers back. And there's loads of different ways to do it. There's no one size fits all. So the first thing we can take a look at is in the bottom left-hand corner here, we've got an option that says clients. So I'm going to click this clients option here. And I can start to filter my clientele via a town here, if applicable, any clubs, VIP clubs, any loyalty schemes, anything like that. We can also do preferred employee, a very, very popular one. So what is our preferred employee? Well, you may or may not be aware that in Shortcuts, if a customer visits one of your employees, one of your staff members on 3 consecutive visits, they are defaulted to their preferred employee. So let's say you've got somebody that's having a price increase, or they're changing their hours, or they're going on maternity or paternity leave. And you want to just say, should we say, email or text message all of their customers. I can click onto Zara here, and it will then send an email to all of Zara's preferred, all of the employees that prefer to see Zara. And we can say Zara's having a price increase, Zara's changing her hours. You can then also filter new clients, non-returning clients, and clients who will refer. But these 3 in particular are default in your marketing already. They're already preset ones. But if you do want to expand it a little bit further and push the parameters, you can do and create your own. You can also do the birth month, age, gender, frequency of services, monetary value spent on services, monetary value spent on products, and frequency of products purchased. So you get lots of different ways to filter it down. So I'm just going to cancel that. And if we go back to the beginning screen, you'll see here we've got these options. It almost looks like a split screen. And at the top, we've got services done, services not done, products purchased, products not purchased. So for example, we can be nice and generic. So at the top with my products purchased, I can choose my companies. So I can then say I can find people that have purchased any product under Kerastars. Oh, let's just remove that one. Oh, too far. Any products under Kerastars. So we can find any product. That's any product purchased, but have not purchased any product under Paul Mitchell. And that would find you a list of customers that have purchased any Kerastars but have never purchased Paul Mitchell. And again, we can do the same with the lines. You can say if you've ever purchased a Paul Mitchell conditioner, but you've never purchased any of the Paul Mitchell styling, for example. And again, it's a great way to entice. It's a great way to upsell. And again, if I just delete these, we can then be very, very specific. So I can then choose my literal products here. So I can then say you've always purchased the Bane Satin Shampoo, but I want to encourage them to purchase the corresponding conditioner, the conditioner that matches, to really give them the best take-home package available. So we find anyone that's purchased the Bane Satin Shampoo, but they've never purchased the specific Bane Satin conditioner. And that would then find a list of customers that have bought the shampoo but have never purchased the conditioner. So it's a great way to do upselling and transactional marketing. And we can also do the same for our services. Now, with regards to our services, we can see in the top right, we have our categories. Now, our categories here are not our literal service categories. So what are they? So what we're going to do, we take a look at setup, and if we take a look at services, they are not the service categories here that we see. It's not the aesthetics and barbaroom. It is our report categories here, our RPTS categories just here. And it will be these ones here that pull through into your marketing. So for example, it's our color, styling, men's and ladies. That's what it will pull through. So when we go to our tools and our marketing, if we do our services done and click categories here, it is the report categories from the previous screen, our RPTS categories. So we can see that just there. So I might wish to find any of my customers that have had any color services, but have never had a service under my ladies or my styling, for example. And you can use multiple different ones if you wish to. So that will then find a list of customers that have had a color service, and that'll be any color service, but they've not had a ladies service or a styling service. So again, it's a great way to upsell. We can create a nice campaign with a little bit of discount, perhaps saying, dear customer, we noticed you've always had color with us, but we offer a range of beautiful styling services, a range of cutting service to really enhance your color. And again, we can delete all of these and we can be very specific with our services. So again, I can choose my services here and I can say, okay, fine. So I'm going to find somebody that's had a regrowth, but has never had a forehead tint. And I'm looking at ways to cross-sell and upsell. And again, I can do exactly the same. I can do a half head of highlights, but never a full head of highlights. You can also cross between services and products. So for example, you could say you've never had any color service, or sorry, you have had a color service, I do apologize. You can say you've had all color services, but you've never purchased a color shampoo, for example. So I don't know if I've got a color shampoo. Let's just pretend that's a color shampoo there, or a color protect shampoo. You can then say you've always had color, but you've never purchased the relevant color shampoo to go inside. And again, it's a great way to cross-sell, upsell, but increase the customer's take home. Now, my favorite one is to do all color, but they've never had, for example, maybe like a nice treatment. Okay, so I'm going to add that on there. So a lot of us do offer like Olaplexes, Fiberplexes, Wellaplexes, and any other treatments as well. But it's a great way to really entice that customer that has had a color service to come back and also purchase a treatment, because treatments tend to have a very good markup, and we tend to be able to do it quite quickly at the backwash or part of the development process. So once you've sort of played around with it, we can take a look. You can also add in a start or an end date there if you've had shortcuts for maybe 10, 15, 20 years and you don't want to find customers that visited you many, many years ago. You can add a start date or an end date in there. But once you've played around with it, so we've got any colors that have had any customers that have had color that have not had an Olaplex treatment. So what I'm going to do down the bottom is I'm going to click the green compute button. And it will let me know I've got customers that have opted out. That's very, very, very common. So all I'm going to do is click done. And we can see there straight away, I've got my 4 customers. That's 4 customers there that have had any color service, but they've not had an Olaplex treatment. Now, of course, you might look at that and think, okay, it's not really worth sending it to 4 people. But of course, you might look at it and think, oh, that's great. It tells me that my customers are having treatments. So although it won't work for marketing, it is letting me know from a business perspective that my customers are having treatments. Once you've got your list of customers, you can add in some exclusions here. So you may wish to exclude any children by just simply ticking the exclude children box. Naturally, if you're going to send this out via email, I would exclude customers that do not have an email. So you can see it's dropped me down to 1. It's also worth excluding any customers that have opted out of marketing, because of course it is only going to bounce back. So unfortunately that has got rid of all of my customers on my test system there. But I am just going to go ahead and pretend that I've got the 1 customer. Naturally, let's pretend I've got 1,000 customers there that I'm going to send that to. Once we've got my list of customers, we need to save this document. Okay, so I'm going to click save just here to the right hand side. Now I'm going to rename it or Chris Test List. Now, once you've got that document, what we're going to do is we're going to click Browse. Now, from here, we're going to click onto Browse. We're going to choose a location to save this document. Okay, so always make sure you click Browse and choose somewhere to save this document. Whether it's your documents, whether it's your pictures, whether it's your desktop, anywhere you like, just make sure you save it. Okay, so we're going to save that document. We've now saved that document. We can go back to our targeted campaign and it says choose file. From there, we would literally go to our documents or wherever it is that we need to go. And it's usually at this stage we think, oh, where did I save it to? We could go to our documents, we can go to our pictures, and we upload the text file, the TXT file. That's where we upload that one from there. So just make sure you click choose file and upload it. That would then send it to all of those customers. So for example, be any of my customers that have had color but have never had an Olaplex treatment. So I could then go ahead on my email, my logo will pull through from site settings. I could add a fantastic display image of maybe the Olaplex treatment, somebody with fantastic glowing hair. Do your subject, do your body, and say, you know, dear customer, we notice you've always had color with us, but do you know we also offer a fantastic treatment, help prolong the life of your color, give us extra lift, avoid split ends, and you can add in that offer underneath. Remember, we create the discount code, we create the offer code in Shortcuts. It's the very first thing we did. If you do need to watch the video back. And then, of course, from there on out, it's exactly the same. You can activate, you can preview, you can send yourself a test. And then just as we've got a few minutes left to go, if we go right back to our appointment acknowledgement, one of the very first campaigns we took a look at. And in our email, you may have noticed we had an option that said forms, okay? So please ensure you complete the following form or forms prior to arriving for your appointment. Now, for those of you that are using the custom CIC, so if you want to add in any of your skin test forms, your laser forms, or any forms you would like to be filled out prior to the customer arriving, so if you want that customer to fill out a form, any custom forms that you've created, they can be added in here. And again, we can use that personalized field. And those forms will be embedded into the appointment acknowledgement email. So as soon as that customer makes the appointment, they will receive the appointment acknowledgement campaign with the form included. So the very first thing we would need to do is naturally have those forms created. And then you can go ahead and activate this one here. And you can see it's highlighted in green. So you might be thinking, okay, well, I've got a laser form, or I've got a skin test form, and I want it to be in my appointment acknowledgement, but I don't want it to go to every single customer, and I don't want it to go to cuts and blow dries. I want it to go to customers that had in color. How can I specify that? How can I ensure that when a customer books and they receive their appointment acknowledgement, it only goes to the relevant customer? So we've activated that campaign there. Now to the left-hand side, I'm going to click onto Business Settings. And I'm going to scroll down to my option here that says Customer Forms. When I click onto Customer Forms, you'll be able to see any particular forms that we have here. So for example, I've got my Care and Home Routine form. I'm going to toggle it to be automated, so I'm going to toggle this to yes. And underneath, I can go ahead and choose the options. So I'm going to choose my client type. Is it going to be new clients, existing clients, or all clients? Who is this form going to be sent out? Now, remember, this form is included in that previous appointment acknowledgement email. So once that customer makes the appointment, that all clients will receive the appointment acknowledgement with the form in it. We can then take a look at the time frame. Is it going to go once, every visit, or every X amount of months, days, or weeks? And last but not least, we can choose the services. So which services are going to be linked to this care and home routine and concerns form? Do we want it to go to all services, or do we want it to just go to perhaps like color services or technical services? So again, I can click select services here. I can expand my categories here. And I can choose the relevant services. Now, whichever service I choose, that will only include the appointment acknowledgement with the form included. They will still get the appointment acknowledgement for all other services, but it will not include this particular form here. So for example, if I was to remove child's cuts, if a child was to make an appointment, they would still receive the appointment acknowledgement. The appointment would be acknowledged, but it would not receive this form. It would not have the care and home routine and concerns form. and then we just click save. So what does it look like? So the customer will receive their appointment acknowledgement. And then once they receive it, let's take a look how it will look. So for example, I've got some customers here. They've all been sent some forms. So in my cloud appointment book, if I tap onto it, we can see who has been sent the form, which form it is, and whether they have filled it out. So what will the form look like? Okay, what will the email look like? And it will look just like this one here. So thanks for your booking. This is the appointment acknowledgement email. This is that exact same appointment acknowledgement email. And you can see it's got the forms included down the bottom there. So again, everyone will technically get the appointment acknowledgement email, but it will not always include the link to the forms like this here. That's on that previous screen that we looked at. When a customer does fill the form out, this will receive a green tick, okay? And you can click onto it and you can see the form they filled out. If you wish to resend the form, you can click the three dots and click and choose the option here that says resend forms, and it will only send forms that have not been filled out. Any forms that have been filled out will not be resent. But if you do wish to see the form that they have filled out to make sure they've done it, you can simply click onto it, give it a few seconds, and it will then show you the form here. If you wish to now go ahead with the customer, you can go ahead and fill the form out with them. If you want to do it in person with them, you can do that. That's not a problem to do whatsoever. You can now go ahead, as I'm doing here, one-to-one with the customer, click done, and it will save it. You can now close the browser. And that is our cloud appointment book. And that is also our marketing. So last but not least, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to my cloud. And to the left-hand side, you can see we've got our business settings and we've got our reports to the bottom left-hand corner here. If we go into our reports, you will see we have an option or a report named Campaign Summary. This will show you all of your campaigns. So just going to wait for that to open up there. Click onto View. We can see any campaigns that we've got activated. We can see the method, the status, how many were sent, how many were delivered, how many people opted out, how many people bounced back, maybe because the email address or the phone number was incorrect. Responses of people come in and use the discount code at the point of sale screen. That's if they, the discount code that we created at the very beginning, that's if they use that at the point of sale screen now. Discounts is how much money was given away, so it will total up all of the money that was given away. And sales is the total sale value, so how much money was garnered, how much money was generated. It's also a great way to draw comparisons between these two to see if the amount of discount you're giving is far too much in comparison to the amount of money that the customer is spending with you. So maybe you've given like a 75% discount or something quite large like that there. But that's your return on investment. You should always be keeping an eye on that. And that will only work if you use the discount code and run it through at the point of sale screen. And that, ladies and gents, is pretty much bang on the money there. Thank you ever so much for joining. That is our cloud marketing. If you do have any questions, please feel free to drop those across to me now. Okay, so a good question with regards to opt-outs. Clients can opt out when it comes to marketing. The opt-out is slightly different to the SMS confirmations. So, for example, if I show you very quickly. So if we go into the client's profile, for example, we can see the different types of opt-out. So if we go into, I've got a customer here called Millie. If we go into Millie's client profile here, you can see we've got the different options here. So marketing will be things like your acknowledgement, your happy birthdays, or pretty much all of the marketing we've just looked at. They will need to be opted in across the board here. Please ensure you do get the customer's consent before manually opting them in, just like that there. Confirmations are more things like your SMS reminders. However, the appointment acknowledgement campaign utilizes both. So it's technically marketing and it's also a confirmation. So that one in particular, the appointment acknowledgement campaign utilizes both marketing and confirmations. But within the email, right down the bottom, there is always an opt-out. Should be able to see it there, an unsubscribe button just there. We can always unsubscribe there, and that will automatically opt them out just here. Also, as well, it's worth noting if you do have multiple clients in your database, please bear in mind if they have multiple different client profiles, it will only opt them out against one of them. Each client profile has its own client ID. So if they have 5 or 6 different profiles, they will be opted in across all of them, perhaps. If they do opt out from one, it will purely opt them out from that one. With that being said, please all do bear in mind if you have multiple different client profiles, one may be active, one may be not so active. If you do use things like the non-returning campaign, you may find the one profile that isn't very active gets sent the non-returning campaign. So it might also be worth doing a client merge as well, just to ensure that everything is nice and up to date there. But a great question with regards to opt out and unsubscribes there. Lovely stuff. Any other questions for me this afternoon? Perfect. Okay, lovely. So I think that's it for all of the questions. Hopefully I've managed to answer everybody's questions during the masterclass there. If you do want to drop me an email, you can do so at education@shortcuts.co.uk. That's education@shortcuts.co.uk. Feel free to pop any questions in there. If you want me to run back over anything with you, please do let me know. If you would like the video as well, please do, again, drop me a message at education@shortcuts.co.uk. Please do stay tuned for any more masterclasses that we've got coming up. But thank you ever so much for joining me this afternoon. It's been a pleasure speaking to you all. Enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy your week, and I shall speak to you and see you all again soon. Thank you ever so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye for now.